So a reset agenda no dia ba.
One key idea President John Dramani Mahama Asaye ebinsi da eye the gold board.
If what no man that is a snake or eating true anymore. But me kasa check Ghana for my Ghana. You see, but just also in this way. Snake no eating true more.
In any serious jurisdiction, it could be a party being and I brought you with my original charm. And the original charm I know would so who what is called failure. Say be a free failure, the classical definition of failure. I brought you.
Company not sacrifice by go the water. So company we are good. Barely no we are good as some year cannot see.
Yeah, but yeah,
yeah.
So all these things, you know, you know. The Buama, if you be come echo.
So a reset agenda no dia ba.
One key idea President John Dramani Mahama Asaye ebinsi da eye the gold board.
If what no man that is a snake or eating true anymore. But me kasa check Ghana for my Ghana. You see, but just also in this way. Snake no eating true more.
In any serious jurisdiction, it could be a party being and I brought you with my original charm. And the original charm I know would so who what is called failure. Say be a free failure, the classical definition of failure. I brought you.
Company not sacrifice by go the water. So company we are good. Barely no we are good as some year cannot see.
Yeah, but yeah. So all these things, you know, you know. The Buama, if you be come echo.
So a reset agenda no dia ba.
One key idea President John Dramani Mahama Asaye ebinsi da eye the gold board.
If what no man that is a snake or eating true anymore. But me kasa check Ghana for my Ghana. You see, but just also in this way. Snake no eating true more.
In any serious jurisdiction, it could be a party being and I brought you with my original charm. And the original charm I know would so who what is called failure. Say be a free failure, the classical definition of failure. I brought you.
Company not sacrifice by go the water. So company we are good. Barely no we are good as some year cannot see.
Yeah, but yeah. So all these things, you know, you know. The Buama, if you be come echo.
So a reset agenda no dia ba.
One key idea President John Dramani Mahama Asaye ebinsi da eye the gold board.
If what no man that is a snake or eating true anymore. But me kasa check Ghana for my Ghana. You see, but just also in this way. Snake no eating true more.
In any serious jurisdiction, it could be a party being and I brought you with my original charm. And the original charm I know would so who what is called failure. Say be a free failure, the classical definition of failure. I brought you.
Company not sacrifice by go the water. So company we are good. Barely no we are good as some year cannot see.
Yeah, but yeah. So all these things, you know, you know. The Buama, if you be come echo.
So a reset agenda no dia ba.
One key idea President John Dramani Mahama Asaye ebinsi da eye the gold board.
If what no man that is a snake or eating true anymore. But me kasa check Ghana for my Ghana. You see, but just also in this way. Snake no eating true more.
In any serious jurisdiction, it could be a party being and I brought you with my original charm. And the original charm I know would so who what is called failure. Say be a free failure, the classical definition of failure. I brought you.
Company not sacrifice by go the water. So company we are good. Barely no we are good as some year cannot see.
Yeah, but yeah. So all these things, you know, you know. The Buama, if you be come echo.
So a reset agenda no dia ba.
One key idea President John Dramani Mahama Asaye ebinsi da eye the gold board.
If what no man that is a snake or eating true anymore. But me kasa check Ghana for my Ghana. You see, but just also in this way. Snake no eating true more.
Now in any serious jurisdiction.
Yenara ya asasini abondending at the mine mojana na mushi gudu to homa yeno ena yedi sumfaso ama yenso no aso yeso ewo enemre mu edrumi no mi no so se be etimidi atoaso nemu se be bi atoaso dia eye kanko kroye ene adwempo baako a yenyina ebetimi afa edi ato ye ho so se oman na yikotemu no yebetimi abɔ ho ban edi efiri sebi di pabonefo bi nsem na yaboa epushi oman no amoman no so etimi akodru bebia ewo se edru ne san nti no ena tembia metenase ewo the point political house show so a mede amanyosem kabima minkebi ene niema ekotwi ekobreman ewo oman krokro Ghana mu etimi edebrel no etimetenase Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays 11:30 exactly na matenase na mrejumedie no etimi abrel bebia uwo bia disafi ena wa join me a mamenda wase na mema wakwaba se wetimi join me ewo Tofiakwa TV, Time TV, and also Fache TV, all on our social media handles. And Reno Asanso Asubim, say was here ede and incomodeno, etimi ede bro. Me and me Jumedio Huchiameno, Medim Pan Casano, ede Big Brother GH, the Maestro, me hosted the point political host show. Nebumuno, Metwaso Diamano, Mepe, Namasanso Hesse, Ubetimi edi Jumedi and Sebi, na wetimi diamame, Senebeya Jumedio no so, Ubetimi I part of the show. Mpacho ko Fache TV ko na ko subscribe ye channel no for me the jaw comment e wo ho makacho se o comment no ya na ehu hia because jumedi na me di no me ne umienu e na edi juma no enti o comment no hia me papa enti jaw comment no wo ho na me nkenkan o comment no emfa ma me se me ka se me kan crofo mo comment e ba show we no so a mentimi enka ni nyina na nka makampo ewie enti fa comment ne fa o na share e fa ma me ko Tofiakwa TV na ye the same thing, like it, share, comment efamame na mindi jumano enfama uwie nso so a na wabomodin ako Time TV na also akodi the same work jumedie no asanso edi amame na jumedie no etimi ayekra behwe enye me nkwa ne betena se na medi jumedie no enne me team of producers, me production team I mean omaya elect on the bill also eboa me air support ama bibi etimi akoye eti abrantipa success executive producer or producer show na ma bibi akoye Emmanuel Labi enso so producer ono so eboa asanso ama sound bibia eti akoye dia ba sound the patience so tachira just also mama update da any home crowd eba eti show ni fully packed and a day ebro with the studios of Fache TV, the studios of Tofiakwa TV, and also the studios of Time TV and na also a studio B. Bet de bia me tin komo catch us and betna say na hu se be ho ayefe na dwumedie no e koso kama e de mawa enye mahoden say yes enye mahoden na mamede abetna e dwumekuo bi ahoden ene omoso adaroma ena ometimi aboa me ekurekura yemu ama dwumedie no aba bedrum pempen so say etimetna se de bia wo se me kanfo sa dwumekuo no omunjumo omudi e de kire wo se ne be ya ososo no obetimi di weni akire honom na ososo wetimi akope dwumekuo no moso krahwe na wetimi ambeki sure se odo ho behye omudwume bi omudi mu na bibia etimi akoye into the side into no mame enkamfo Millennium Construction Company Limited enfamma Millennium Construction Company Limited mame ka omho asem na asem ndi omho adanse enfamma na te omudwuma na omudi na se ewo kroma makacho se kroma hanom no adanse no akwa ade bi wo honom a se wampe contractor papa se wampe okandini sebi ono no onimde no wonimde efa adanse ho niema ene adanse na nkase mu ewo kroma hanom a wanhwe ya obekwa kopeja 2-story building de esi ho na emum na the fundamentals no eye weak na edan no etimi edwiri edi egu so na stand ntino na me kan for Millennium Construction Company Limited edi ama se wo dan no ayese den krampo na omo ebetimi aboawo na ometimi esi edan no edi ama afin so no se ope edan ahaya omo 2-bedroom apartment 3-bedroom apartment na afin so 4-bedroom apartment omo betimi agibi edi ama na onso no wetimi enya baabi edi wuti ato because abrabo na ye bono se wabrabo no betimi akoye edi ama wa baabi a odi wuti beto no baabi a ehu hia pan ye onya baabi di wuti to a abrabo no mu 70% no wetimi abo awe di aka no na akwakoye hand to mouth sa akọ de bese na ye hand to mouth na chese woni wabusua no mo bo mo homodin ama bibia etimi akoye etibo modin a na hwese odi woni be kire Millennium Construction Company Limited na oni omu edi dwumadie no ewo eho no mesese omo sanso omo ensase kama ewo ho no ensase na Millennium ewo no mese edafom ensase ne dafom a chese omo nsase no chese mansun bia enim medi nkoma ka cho se ene no ehemfo no nkoma ya no mudi wo krom hanom no ene niema ye koso court no ya na ensase ho manso twen ene ye koso I mean ewo court but Millennium Construction Company Limited semen kan cho se omo nsase na edafom beto asase no se usika no mpo nso a omo betima split the amount se 50% anomo the amount na watimi atwetwa de aka no kakra utwetwa wi a na asase no aba ye wo dia officially emeye legit papers e the amount chese obi ane wo emetwe manson ewo ensase ene ho ewo Millennium Construction Company Limited omo sanso building materials what ya say se wo panua papa de esi udan se wo pebo papa de esi udan se wo pe iron rods bibia wo pe ewo construction ni mu no be se Millennium bese se wokọ omaso ya omo betimi aye niema no ede ama enti from na eni omo enkodi nkomo ewo omo telephone numbers ne so 0244041961 na eni omo entwetwe nkomo na onsoso etimi call maso na eni omo di nkomo enti ma mesenso so biem enfama 0244041961 na oni omo edi nkomo sa wodi weni kire boshen a omo ewo ho na Yas Junction omo wo ho no ma omo ebetimi eno edi nkomo da kama ama bibia etimi akoye enti no fo ni kire omo so ye na Yas Junction na omo enti bi emwa from biem 0244041961 na omo eno endi nkomo no kama no omo sisi o kama wo dan no wasase no eno building materials no omo ntimi nsisi o kama na bibia ntimi enkoye enfama itomo enetimi abomoden asomase a ene no the point political house show betimi ede bro na ansa ne me stories ne so no me pese uhwe video we na me twam ho sema na me de ba sesie
ye be ma eso ate ankoko wa wu asede akoko sene be ya akeba no ye be ma eso ate ankoko wa wu asede akoko sene be ya akoko folks aye di fi amano ne ba no ye be ma eso ate ankoko wa wu asede akoko
Etira His Excellency John Dramani Mahama enkomo eda okote yedo ose enkoko we enkoko nkete project eda yira John Dramani Mahama na wotwetwe mu okwada otimi eba krom ha ebetimi elanche edema oman kronkro Ghana na the funny part of it and am person me no share now so otimi esre because ene Friday enti bibie ewo show ni mu a ebetimi edi nkomo no amo hours. This is the funny part of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama oye all round president obemo wasre sikabeba obotom bibia nso betimi akoye ediama but then mama sha asa na men run the stories ne down na onsoso no untimi hu nkomo na yedi wa hana na mama sha ase ewo the Jubilee House nanwada ntwemu krampo na foreign investors achese omo sika pa ompese omo di omo sika no ebe wura economy ni mama bibia tibi koye edema oman konkron Ghana eye o madwen se omo betimi akọ Jubilee House no money the vice president Nana Jane akọtena se no money ne di nkomo na omo hwese omo sika na omo de ba be wura oman konkron Ghana mu no policy ben ene betimi aboa ama omosika no eso abanfa so ede amom as foreign investors na no na His Excellency Professor Nana Jane ede to omanim se oba Ghana currently as you speak ye mine no oman penyino odi eni mu no His Excellency John Dramani Mahama etimi ede niema bebre egu akwam when it comes to 24-hour economy and the big push policy is the main thing Yura John Dramani Mahama ebwa se niema betimi akoyi ediama oman konkro Ghana enti eno no 24-hour economy no create jobs asanso sustain jobs ewo kromo hanoma eno betimi aboa ama omusika na omode share 24-hour economy esanso share big push mo no ebetimi create a lot of jobs and so beba mfa so ediama the foreign investors in same say eno okaye yenti ensema otimi ekaye no
our economy. When President Mahama returned to office, he set out a clear, practical vision to make Ghana's economy more productive, more competitive, and more inclusive. That vision is captured in our flagship policy, the 24-hour economy framework. This idea is not about any citizen working endlessly. It is about how we want to organize the economy to function continuously and efficiently, powered by stable energy, modern logistics, skilled labor, and digital networks. It recognizes that in a globally connected world, productivity cannot end when the sun sets. To operationalize this, the 24-hour economy is being built on 8 strategic pillars. Grow 24, make 24, build 24, connect 24, fund 24, aspire 24, show 24, and go 24. Ladies and gentlemen, these are not empty slogans. Each pillar focuses on a major area of transformation: agriculture, manufacturing, infrastructure, finance, skills, tourism, government. This is how we aim to create and translate the vision into practice. Grow 24 connects farmers and agro-processors to 24-hour cold logistics, ensuring produce harvested at dusk reach markets by dawn. Our economy. When President Mahama returned to office, he set out a clear, practical vision to make Ghana
ANSM kakra His Excellency Professor Nana Jane etimi editudwa ewo at the time na utimi ACC no ho edi foreign investors omutimi etrupi e call Jubilee House and no etimi ekodi nkomo about the 24-hour economy and also the big push policy that the president has initiated in our country Ghana. Enti nkomo no emu the way say foreign investors no try say omubeba into the country, they will invest into the country and try say ombe musika no ebe create job opportunities at the ama on my Kronkron Ghana. Just that it was stipulated in the budget reading last week. Honorable KSL Atoforsan, etimi called Parliament, etimi ekudidi in Komo. They are actually on a course for fulfilling that particular promise. Omutimi edi ehun komo. But right now, no, Mame Sanso enko me next story ni edi in Komo ewo na Kennedy Ohene or compre kon e Japan eye candidate on also so epese Utu Franca edman the NPP coming 2028 general election ebetimi akoso ewo oman Kronkron Ghana. Mame fantu enim se enye ono nko a ene epetumi no obihwe obi se Dr. Mahmoud Baumia on also so ene prewosa akensie no Dr. Yao Educhum Osei enso so ene no epre ewo sa akensie no ena afins no engineer Kwamina Ejipon enso so eka ho a
so we only need to enforce
akensie no ehun ena afins so Dr. Brian Echampon odisika tumprada or also ekasa akensie no na we na Canadian Ohene Japan the campaign no or the akwakopiem ewo kwahu na kwahu no na ewo so okọ no ko grace into the media no making sure say bibia oye bia no ebetimi akoye na we na okọ ago FM eno ewo kwahu no okodi nkomo wo ho e de to omanim say when it comes to corruption on the camp team Kennedy camp no corruption bi eni ho na oye wadwen say o de keta se ne proye ebeba no the camp also no immediately obesakaw e de we free I mean ono ankasa the camp na afini so no ye institution nyumeku a ehwe bribery and corruption so wa ha e bi say shraj bi say yoko ene bie na ne omo maka omo hwe I mean bribery and corruption so wa ha no ono oba on establish any other institution enfanka yoko any omo maka ho na emom no obe make sure say obehwe omo ketewe se ne be ya omo betimi aye omo adwuma ne ye na goman Ghana timi nyo omo so mfa so nto obehwe omo kutupa na omo so timi aye omo adwuma ne ye se ne be ya oman Ghana ebetimi didi omo so emfa so edi efri horo no krampo no ne ba odi na chi anase ne ba owo no krampo no wasake no enefri ne dwuma obi ede share ne nsem yenti nkomo kakra yira Kennedy ohene Tofiakwa Japan etimi ede tudwa ewo hono
odi ba ni station ni director kura frame say Australia ameni abrantie ne nkasa si were too bad na yinadi me ba boy na de no ba on the gina hono me catch right thing so we only need to enforce all the structures now to do the right thing. You don't need to create more EBR, but edru baby a omoye relax. Omoye relax. Me a boys back my fire no. Na e Volta region osika. Omde kona back de no. Wa manage ni ye na essay. Nti yesi omun joso kakra. Omunia odikum. You could do Volta region in your ma e was a ba ni station ni director kura frame say Australia ameni abrantie ne nkasa si were too bad na yinadi me ba boy na de no ba on gina hono me ka kire no be say crash una de no ba me yinadi wo yinadi a wan kasa so don't follow the you know yeah ka be you ban is wedding no me yinadi prince so on an TV station or man FM me I mean whatever I say on any mama na me yi wo modi bisa no yeah on any mama me say the mama nkotene fie sika bia woje e month no asemasi mehwe so owi a onfa se sika but onya adwuma no we also Mr. Cratchy ono na adwuma doso o businesses bibri oye business afi no be bom bisi me be bom bisi na me de ni gu na me say unu ya ma wo ho wo de wo we ye engine of yi wa begina so e de ayi adwuma nyame aboa wo utumi ye adwuma free na me de me protective for unu ya ma ni me yi no but sela do kro edu ba bi no ho kira na ye consult right thing so we only need to enforce all the structures now.
All right, it's we Kennedy ohene Tofiakwa Japan enkoma okudi ewo Ago FM ewo kwehu na utie no bia kasa sensem ni bi wo ya na yebe so say ono anigire ne ba wa fire omo edna free ono ankasa the company mu o kire omo say adwuma no de show omo nsa na adwuma no kwa na ekofom and omo nye capable of maintaining that particular company for him it's never so osake na emu no osake omo wie no ne ba no sore no asa aba no ho aba bejisika e de akwa on the company mu zebdo s kakra be enye sansem no nkwa no timi ede tuodwe e wa bra na all have that interview or sanso edi nkomo ede tuodwe se ono no se wo hwe na oye investor oye billionaire the sound into over 13 billionaires are ono eni omedi nkomo se omombra Ghana enfo musika no be invest into our economy eno no betimi aboan am yenya 30 acres of land in Volta regional eno nko no betimi amaye ethanol planter eno so betimi sustaining development and also creating job opportunities for our country Ghana enti mami ready and farmer producer fatoso na indidi nkomo kakra e wo ho say I have lined up 13 billionaires who are ready to invest in Ghana. I have acquired 30,000 acres of land in Volta region for ethanol plant. That was Kennedy Tofiakwa Japan. Nenkoma okodi ewo hono nto no person chese say NPP 8 million 2 million share na lead NPP into 2028 election. Na oji 2 million de ma NPP a over 13 billionaires ono ne omo edi nkomo ma ready say omo do musike ba be hye ye economy ni ma Volta region nko ano wetimi ato asase anase wenya asase a eye 30,000 acres of land wɔde ba bɛyɛ ethanol planter ɛna obetimi aboa na sustain the economy no na sanso so ɛde impuntuo ɛne nnwuma bi ɛso so etimi abrɛ ɔman kronkron Ghana ɛwɔ hɔnom eti wei ɛyɛ nsɛm kakra Kennedy Okompreko ɔhene Japan ɛde tuudwa ɛwɔ kwawu ɛwɔ at the time a ɔkɔ having the interview ɛwɔ Ago FM mame ɛnsanso Enfree Kennedy Okompreko ɔhene Japan aso yɛ na menko NPP ɔmo so akache unse ɔmo nyina line up with the political party but now no Wednesday me be dim komo bi wa ha ɛde to wanim catch say Oko MPP mo a 31st January 2026 eno mo betimi ahave omo flag bearership race election no na sa enkomo no ye wo the election committee a yate omo timi asset up a ye papa ye friend say Joe Wise and I say Joe Osei Owusu ena eda omo no a obo modern so betimi aye ntotoye sene be ya bibia fa nwiemu a obi beka say yato abawie ye wiem e de ama opanyi bi anase de bi ama obi no sa de no intimacy after their election ne eno no e de to dwa say ade e friend say proxy voting no enya ade say ono e betimi afoa so say ebia watu kwan o abroche now the krata ma obi say ni pako no beginem no onto abanfama wo so ono ne penso no this election no proxy voting no eno intimi enkoso na eno no this answer no betu dwa no eye Sweden NPP omo ankasa party ne camp the chairman of Sweden omo camp no etro petition e de bre omo e wo Ghana ha se enya ade so omo so bepene se proxy voting no omo so betwem because in fie bebrenie e na proxy voting no etimi ada ho no ma omo wa abrochire no omo de nkrata ne ba na obi eginem ato aba no e de amomo enti omo hwem no omo hwe ne ye na omo nka omo nsem ne ye se ne be ya proxy voting no will be ensured enti omo wa abrochire no so betimi ama obi aba beto aba na we na the election committee no eko asetena omo kodwendwen ho e de to dwa se bebi a omo de omo hyehye ya ba bedru no enya ade se proxy voting no omo betimi age atum yenti nsem kakra the presidential committee and as the election committee of the NPP flag bearership race no omo de etudwa ewo at the time na Joe Osei Owusu Joe Wise eda oma no e de science mo eton central for enim yen embrace ya
presented by sections of the party, and after listening to all that, we came to a conclusion that for the sake of conducting an election that is incident-free and election that is respected, election which is accessible to all, a very credible elections, that provision or that ban should be maintained. We will still not have proxy voting in this 2026 presidential primaries. That position is maintained. Thank you very much for coming. The earlier published position or guideline on proxy voting. We've listened to all kinds of petitions. We've read the petitions presented by sections of the party, and after listening to all that, we came to a conclusion that for the sake of conducting an election that is incident-free and election that is respected, election which is accessible to all, a very credible elections, that provision or that ban should be maintained. We will still not have proxy voting in this 2026 presidential primaries. That position is maintained. Thank you very much for coming.
We nkomo kakra Joe Osei Owusu adodo na friend Joe Wise editu jo ono ene election committee chairman edema NPP omo abato ombe committee 31st January 2026 oneda the committee na no ohese ototo niema amaniema etimi akoyi ede amomo na enra parliament eko asetna na omukọ dwindwin budget a yera honorable KSL Atoforsen etimi ede ba parliament last week no na sankomo no enkoguye because samra me no kase parliament crampo etimi organize some workshop seminars ede ama young MPs o mabano so budget ne base na e wo se omoni omudi nkomo no mo chechro mo niema bibra e wo mu no mo so ede ye adesua e wo hono na saa niema no ekoso e wo parliament na no parliament sanso kwa asetena na eno na edom kuma opanyi baako a owo edom kuma ni mu no aye friend Patrick Yaboama a ono ye MP for Okaikwi Central etimi esori ede ensem bebre ede tuudwa saying say wo hwe budget ni mu a yewura John Dramani Mahama aye some misplaced priorities be ewom because of say wo hwe one of the things na Ghana for person mo hwe when it comes to transportation system in the budget no is only about Kumasi and then Accra Road not Ghana for edin komo ahwe ni mo say yewura John Dramani Mahama ebitima na double road and also dual carriage road sine be ya accident and niyama ekoso ewo Kumasi Accra Road no ne nyina no ebetimi aye fapem ediama oman Ghana na ebom no mobile no enkomo mudi no entrese saa niyama ne betimi akoso budget ne mu nkomo ne se ombeye expressway from Accra to Kumasi but meanwhile no Ghana for airpay dual carriage roads and ebetimi enhance safety and also ebetimi eradicate some sort of accident ayana ekoso ewo Kumasi Accra Road odidi nkomo no bebre input chire mu say when it comes to transportation system a free yewura John Ajekum Kufuor ene yewura Nanado Danko Kufuor so no ohwe yewura John Dramani Mahama the first time the second time ya eba akwanyo honsensem ewo krom ha yewura John Dramani Mahama ne monimbo ewo fompa ensem sei eno de tudwa yenti embraces here.
He was going to construct an express road to Kumasi. Mr. Speaker, what is the crime of the people of this country, especially those of us who ply that route to our villages, especially from Accra to Paga and to Boko? For 8 years, from 2009 to 2016, not a single kilometer of road was added by the NDC government. Yes. You come into government again, and instead of you prioritizing with the completion of the dualization of the Accra-Kumasi road, you are telling us that you are going to construct an express road. From which funds? You know that. It's a complete misplaced priority. What Ghanaians want to see is the completion of the dualization project that was started by the Kufuor administration. Yes. Then you can even look at that because even the financial models do not help you. How are you going to construct this? Through a PPP arrangement? And how much are you going to charge road users? It's for you to take that decision. But Mr. If you look at the cover page of this year's budget, you can see a clear Photoshop of a certain express road that the minister spoke about, that he was going to construct an express road to Kumasi. Mr. Speaker, what is the crime of the people of this country, especially those of us who ply that route to our villages, especially from Accra to Paga and to Boko? For 8 years, from 2009 to 2016, not a single kilometer of road was added by the NDC government. Yes. You come into government again, and instead of you prioritizing with the completion of the dualization of the Accra-Kumasi road, you are telling us that you are going to construct an express road. From which funds? You know that. It's a complete misplaced priority. What Ghanaians want to see is the completion of the dualization project that was started by the Kufuor administration. Yes. Then you can even look at that because even the financial models do not help you. How are you going to construct this? Through a PPP arrangement? And how much are you going to charge road users? It's for
eti weye enkobo kakra yura Patrick Boama etimi editudwa ewa bra osore ewa parliament na
spoke about that he was going to
comes to the transportation system
an express road to Kumasi.
Photoshop any enkomo
Mr. Speaker, what is the crime of the people of this country, especially those of us who ply that road to our villages, especially from Accra to Paga
when
and
it
to
comes to
Boko?
transportation system
For 8 years,
when it comes
from
to
2009 to 2016,
just a kilometer road efanka near Omampenyi John Ajekum Kufuor any Omampenyi dada His Excellency Nanado Danko Kufuor etimi ebeye omutimi fe bi nka ho eti eba ohonom dia yewura Mahama emonimbo ewo form ewo honom eno ye ensem kakra Patrick Boama etimi editu dwa ewo at the time na wo parliament na odi enkomo ewo honom na enye no nko osanso editu dwa producer fe no to so mame o say when it comes to budget hun sensem aye kan ewo kromo hanom o say this is the first time our budget has been read around 5:37 p.m. At that time most of our major creditors were asleep. It tells you and gives you the reasons the market did not respond positively to the budget. I mean, can be mesanso and famam. Or say, this is the first time our budget has been read around 5:37 p.m. At that time, most of our major creditors were asleep. It tells you and gives you the reasons the market did not respond positively to the budget. Or say, this is the first time budget you honorable case at forcing it me ebe kind editor parliament. Now so we any day di kan ye kan budget ewo enwumre budget di enke kan na nopa anase ewiem ho baby nanka kan na we die omo pe oboni bi edi nti no obo de be share enwumre eno kire wo se time no mo de kan budget no na amanfo bebre adeda. It's almost sorry, you know. Near no was sent come to a budget in the moon, come was sent come the TS, you know, or mean to me, I'm fan TS because of quite a faso, a king kind budget, you know, ewo ahanum, and none namso, I'm a man for be brino, intimi and can budget no asem papa, ewo Samria, Mino, a Cassette Patrick, Yabuama, in coma on so essansu idea, ewo a honum. My family enter NPP, Fonso Asway, flag bearer, on so a pre Franca Tufoni be ewo. NPP amanyo kuni muno engineer kwabena e Japan edidi nkomo kakra edi nkomo de akere in TV34 say when it comes to debate also ono the 5 candidates the other 4 candidates no obi ntimi ngina ho say yenka debate yenye argument yenka 1 or 2 things policies and it niema obi belidi NPP amanyo kuni mo obetimi di omaba power also obi ni wo obetimi ene no atiegina aye one-on-one debate into on what tonkra the other remaining 4 candidates say omo pa na so omo jom hudi say omo nim de ewo I mean niema ye di hu nkomo ye omo bra na omo be course for debate one-on-one debate ma menken kan nsema otimi edi nkomo no enfanche or say flag bearer candidate Kwabena Ejapon challenges fellow presidential hopefuls to a national televised debate. That means say or per se debate no yejini wo TV so. Yes, yejini wo TV so na wo hemi wo TV so yejini wo TV so na musumutimi hwebe ye hese. Say Kennedy ohene okronprogbe Japan Dr. Mahmoud Baumia Dr. Yaw Osei Edutwum Dr. Brian Champon omu hwan in the betimi no atiegina also obie no ho a obetimi ene no atiegina enti omo pa omu intimi embra na omu enhost debate no na bibia intimi enkoye na Emmanuel Labi Yura John Dramani Mahama osisen osi akoko no ewu ana osi akoko no ewu ana akoko no ewu enwu ya yenhwe embra sisi ya ne ento ankomo no so
akoko sene be ya akoko folks a yedifi amano ne ba no ye be ma eso ate ankoko wawu asede akoko sene be ya akoko ba no ye be ma eso ate ankoko wawu asede akoko sene be ya akoko folks a yedifi amano ne ba no ye be ma eso ate
it's a John Mama yate de kobo ewo hono no wakasa o se nkoko no omunwuye o de nkoko nketenkete no eba se ne be ya nkoko a wewu kuku foods no ye betimi jaiwe no yare or rich natural organic chicken ewo kromo hadum se ne be bibia betimi akoyi be yenhia se ne ndi nkomo kakra na yentimi enhwe nkomo a ebetimi edin na producer Rolly first video ne mama na menhwe so mfendi di nkomo na unse making kind stories no medin commodity show says so hwe ye membru na ye wokru hanom na ye doso pa. When you are talking about population wise, we are getting close to 40 million population as we speak in our country, and this number of population is hwe the youth a wokru hanom a obo kate across 50% of this particular number. And it tells you, say, baby on mine ababidruno. We are getting towards, and as we are in our youthful population. In Mebuno, any do much chiro minor. See, the Mebuno mum na chiro minor, and as a Mebuno betima kusuku ewie. Now, Ombeko suku bewie, na Ejuma Hombaye din diamomo. Now, most of them will be lived out as unemployment graduates, unemployment people. No more roaming about our communities, or more roaming about our locality. No more also unnecessary tension, pressure in our society. What it means, they say, it threatens the security of our country. It threatens the security of our country. The entire threatening your security near Bambo Hun sense Mukrumman say ye membrane near you man ye. Nasa omudio muhu kwasheshe nyememu asebi emwa omaina. Dia beba say omaina betimi agin hini cause membrane near you minus or no kobo arm robbers. Or the new rat in Rubonians, I mean, Edwedium, or the new rat near my bonny be a sebi, M1 or minor, M fana to my pa M fry. Yam bambons and seminal, Jana, I mean, is actually questionable. That is the reason why I may, if you say me share show we answer one of my priorities, and make Casadi, a man, Mebuna Sebumuni, Numaniano. We will talk about those things. Unemployment rate at Elkosu Krumanum is actually getting alarming. Nanwa honorable case at Forsen. Ekodin Komo of Parliament. Edidin Komo say they are about to create 800,000 jobs. And the youth that we have in our country, a bit in the bulomo, and they will get some enough job to do and also sustain the economy when it comes to other matters. Now, I told it why I said this was a good objection. This was a good inclusion of Honorable Kese Watu-Forsen into his budget. Into his budget. Because say ye didn't come on here say nyuma in your menim abayaba why the second budget also the 800,000 jobs ba on my name, and then he is doing it very well. Say ye member ne wo krom an bit me nya sign human dia. It was a good thing. That is the reason why I'm meeting come me catch say eneno ye Rajon Dramani Mahama and the vice president, His Excellency, I mean Professor Nana Jane Puku etimiat na say aye initiative afre foreign investors edioma bakroni mu say omunfo musi kan be wura the 24-hour economy, the big push policy omu eka ho asem at the time they were campaigning vigorously in the 2024 election when they were stating their manifesto. I mean flagship campaign team and their manifesto was the 24-hour economy and the big push. The 24-hour economy, no, the kind of jobs are Yura, Kese Watu-Forsen, and every read the budgets, and I can't want them say it may create almost 800,000, I mean, jobs to the people. No, they are on course doing it, and at the moment, me who that foreign investors now the Jubilee House, no, I was fulfilled. I was overwhelmed because I know very well that with this number of foreign investors on Metro in at the Jubilee House or more the proper orientation about the policy formulation of Rajon Dramani Mahama. I know very well say almost kana omode babe re economy ni mo no almost kana omode e babe ra oman ni ebie nyuma ediamo man kontrol Ghana no, it will yield production and then it will yield employment rate. Unemployment rate no yentimi ntu ase. Because right now as we speak, Enre Yauko Ken UST in Mebuno graduate from Kwame Nkrumah Aponimono, it was very huge in number. Many in number. So that means we cannot eradicate the rate of unemployment aiding me away mine. Yentimi to us here, name the betimi aso ano kwan, and I say betimi aso ano kakra. Yes, so ano na say yes, ano kwan ni na say nipa ewo oman mu han say bia 2 million people. And at least the government can initiate creation of jobs and betimi aboa. Ama imebunu ebi imebunu by 1 million people enye enyuma ediaye. The other remaining 1 million no, then the government tries to to fetch them some kind of jobs a bit hold on temporarily to this particular government. And that is what I think right now as we speak. Professor Nana Jane and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, it may invite these foreign investors just for them to come, have that basic orientation and make sure so omunya foreign and also omunya that basic orientation, no, they will invest and invest very well. Now what that in some way see Ewo Elwak Sports Stadium. In some way, see here, Ewo Barbara Sports Stadium, and any other centers are the Ghana Armed Forces. It's me organizing almost screening process last week Wednesday, and I said last week, yes, last week Wednesday, Elwak Sports Stadium, and NIPA 6. I sat on this particular platform to condemn that particular thing. Say, when it comes to unemployment, the country is far behind and the country is lacking because Sanka inyuma wo mine mua. In Kanipa 100,000, Nipa 70,000, enkobo dompim. Ewo Elwak Sports Stadium say, omuko military screening. And let me tell you, some kwadano mukobo dompim honi nyina no me kan no credit actual. None of them, I say majority of them, enye omo passion. Enye omo passion. Ne say omo beko military and as omo enter into armed forces. Bebre na anya adwuma nye. Eti we school otifie. Anya okoto forms na se kaso omra screening na. Se nyame ya adom ne ye fa na boso me so a aban etwia ka ono so be ye aban ye adwuma ni a boso me so e betwia ne ka. Obaya aban dwuma yeni a boso me so asabi ye betwia ne ka a bia 21st na ne salary I hit in the bank no ono so akwakwa insika dia to botom. That is what they were dreaming of. But in terms of say omu enya that kind of patriotism, that kind of passion for the country, that kind of commitment, that sacrifice, so mo kwa serve ye my Ghana, I'm telling you, majority of them omuni sa akoma no, majority of them were not ready for the screening. And even far from that, it was the negligence and the ignorance nature of the Ghana Armed Forces bimo. And the ma sa oyene kase no eto sa ankoda no wo ho. Eti imagine say ye titiro man a enyuma ebu e wo man nim a enyuma ebu to the extent say ye meburu no enye enyuma ni bia ya. I am not sure say at that time the screening process na omu bie mu e wo the military the Ghana Armed Forces e bie mu e wo Elwak Sports Stadium e bie mu e wo Babaya Sports Stadium no. I am not sure say enka emebu no ebetwi akọ no mo saa. Do the extent say stampede any other things ebesi ewo no. I'm not sure say nkasa dey ebesi, but we are in a country that we are having unemployment rate, and we think say unemployment rate no e was say anthem e was say adie bi e was say kamfo e was say e adie bi e was say ka ho asem me pamocho say aban we amfa na ANC form. If the NDC government amfa na ANC form am make sure say e membru no benye adwuma ni bia ya emebu no benya enyuma ye wo man nim ama ahoto kakra bo mu botomu a e da asem kase pa na besi because it threatens na medi nkomodi kan catch say it threatens the security of our country because sankoda we nyina botwi e ka so mu ye demonstration omu proteste omu mpe aban ni biem anase omu mpe se aban both NPP both NDC and any other political party omu mpe obia biem o man we mu a ebe ya asem kese pa wo man nim ebe ye asem kese wo man nim. That's the reason why I make say unemployment rate the moment air cost no as the moment air cost no threatening the security of our country. Mekaisa the first term of Nana Danko Akufo-Addo in 2017 or in 2018, one thing that Nana Danko Akufo-Addo together with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia did when they say only in our country at that time that unemployment rate hit close to about 37% per year in our country, and they needed to stabilize, make sure say that 37% debate drop it from that rate to maybe 20% or 90%. So what did they do? NAPCO initiation, it was close to about 750,000 people. And omutimi initiate in a NAPCO. And the crampono, omuchi omoka first year, second year, no third year na yasem. In the last 2 years, from 2019 to 2020, under the first term of Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, now a problem for the government to pay them. So I know a lot of NAPCO personnel. 2 years they were not paid. 2 maximum years they were not paid. How do you expect them to leave? Because he needed to create the job temporarily for them. Who created job temporary for this particular youth? No one answer taking it away from them. As if say it was a privilege for for the majority of these youth to be on that particular policy. But I'm telling you, the government, it is your right. It is your responsibility to create jobs for the youth to do in our country. So US the number of unemployment rate in US no is what because day in and day out government need policy, the government policy and everything no is stabilizing, open jobs for people to do. Look at the number of immigrants a troop in Europe. Look at the number of immigrants a troop in USA. But yes, still they are able to find something to do better. How much more than our African continent? How much more than our African country that we are boasting of natural resources, that we have everything in our country that can sustain us economically and financially. But yes, still most of our youth are unemployed in our country, and I think this is the time. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku initiate this foreign investors they are in for good. This time around, you create a job. This time around, this is not about making good speech. This is not about doing and that's disseminating good information, good communication. We can talk, we can do a whole lot of things. But right now, baby, or mine or mine in here action. Show your action. Show what you have to do. Show what you've gotten. And show what is expected of you during your manifesto days and during the election period. Baby a baby no chire wo bobre chire de obetimi aye chire de o kan ye no o ka so baba ye no ye ho adwuma na oman na omoto aban ma omoto aban ma no oman bapafo no omoto aban no ede ma no omuhu se aban ye to ma no se be one da omo demum you are doing something better in the economy. You are doing something better to establish and also solve the unemployment situation that we are facing in our country. So I believe this was a good peculiar taxa. Yera John Dramani Mahama and then His Excellency Nana Jane almost also etimi eye wo hodoma eboa omo. Mami run na me call me second story na yedi enkomo kakra. Na mami remo NPP. Kennedy Ohene Kompreko Japan. I know him very well because of he is a man of his words. He is a man of his words. I wouldn't waste much time to actually talk about this because of so we share the second story of Kennedy Ohene Japan and even the first story of Mary Didiama now. It links up. It teams up to become a one message and a person may cut it across. See, he is someone who is a businessman, who is an investor. It is not only in this country. And a Kennedy Ohene Japan, any investment or investment Nigeria. Or investment or Saudi Arabia. He has investment in Dubai. A lot of investment around most of the countries that we have in US or investment. Or what I'm trying to tell you is when he says and I say or catch or say or no on peketa share any proyasia is because of the amount the investment enyini egro ababedrum pempen so on wedru no the amount investment enyini egro in most of the countries and they say those countries do not tolerate bribery and corruption. Those countries, they don't tolerate bribery and corruption. I can mention 2 or more countries to you. As they will tell you it was because of bribery and corruption and other activities and a company in those deserved countries and more companies. So he has invested in most of the countries. The investment in I yielded a lot of production. I yielded a lot of capital income for him as a country. As a man. I yielded fiscal discipline for him as a man. So he knows what he is talking about. And he knows that when you go to US, bribery and corruption is not, is not at a rampant rate as compared to Ghana. So if he wants to lead this country, if he wants to change, if he wants to cause revolution and evolution within our country, one major thing that he needs to do as a leader is to eradicate bribery and corruption. How well would he do it? That's the question. We've seen that same thing when Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings was coming in from 1990 into 1991, 1982. In fact, at the time of O2 Hillary Man, in those times in the 80s, one major thing of the 2 Hillary Man was because of bribery and corruption. In 1992, when he needed to remove his military uniform and now partake stake in the civilian government, establish a new political party, NDC, what the messenger or country across the people of Ghana, and say, oh no, he is a man of his words. He's coming to eradicate bribery and corruption. So check it, at the time, the governance of Flight Lieutenant General John Rawlings, bribery and corruption, and John Ajakum Kufuor, and so time when it comes to bribery and corruption. What to me who say, Rawlings DNA form kakra as compared to John Ajakum Kufuor, because at his time we saw a lot of scandals a hit year during the NPP first time from 2000 to 2008. And what I'm trying to say is say, as a leader, if you don't find solution for bribery and corruption, there is no way that kind of grounds so we develop more minor on a smoothest level. No, you need to eradicate, you need to fish out those people who are involved in bribery and corruption scandals within your country. Those institutions are bribery and corruption, so enforce them to be effective, enforce them to do the work, put them on their toes. And that was what Kennedy Ohene Japan was talking about. So no, say MPP former to me now. He will enforce some institutions that are also overtaking bribery and corruption scandals, people who are stealing from the coffers of the country, people who are mismanaging our resources, people who are causing financial loss to the state. He will make sure say those institutions becomes effective. Example is Yoko. We know Yoko for quite long. Yoko was established under the act of our constitution at Parliament for them to fight against bribery and corruption, scandals upon scandals that might hit in our country. With the we are saying, Yoko only becomes relevant during the first years of every new government comes to power. Yes. So Yoko be relevant. So better Yoko Fonka. It will be the first year of a fresh government. But power. Na omadring say abino wo twemu no nieme bi omoye yanko yie no e wo say omutu omususa nkrofo bi omu wie sika no e wo so omuchi omutum e wo so call it omutu order. So if you say Yoko ban no, check the number of people a obakoche omo. Professor Edubuain ne ba Edubuain omo ekwo no so Chama Wuntumi omo ko no so Mustafa Hamid omo no so a lot of people omako omo so okromanum. They become only relevant when we usher new political party into power, and especially within the first year. Senye we in America o de yenhwe ni mu yenkwa ni mu nkoduru. The first year ni ohu omodwuma omoye yenko the second year you will see the job that they will be doing. In the third year, you will see the kind of job that these people will be doing. We have some institutions, they only becomes relevant. But institution, you were created just to facilitate the process of bribery and corruption within the country. Fast. When another Danko Kufuor came to power, in the year 2017-2018, one thing that he did, that Ghanaian people had that belief in him, say he will fight against corruption, was the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecution. Ekosi saying, or the Martinami do Koto no, Ekosi saying. We didn't have a single case. We saw Martin Namidua or no resigning from that particular position. Coming out say there has been some influence within the government higher position. As or probe investigation to other matters are not a call from the presidency, a call from those people naba say onjemu. So untiminya that focus no so he needed to resign at the crucial time that NPP were about to hit the 2020 election. It has sound common course. So bribery and corruption is very, very important. We are leading us to me any man of your words. Want to me carry that virtue of the fact say, oh Babi Tuasia, I'm not sure say you'll be capable to lead this particular good country. And that's what Kennedy Ohene Japan is saying. So what's also didn't come also I have lined up 13 billionaires. Yes. I say oh no. We're lining up 13 billionaires say omumbra na omufo musika be invest into our country because ono wa acquire 30,000 acres of land in Volta region for ethanol plant. Ethanol e ade ba ko a yusu ye krom ha papa. Ethanol ye yusu ye krom ha papa. Ate say no boan ye kwan bi breso and ade a oman bo ho ka ekofa free amanfo kuro so de bon mining abrayan kase betimi aye bi wo krom a you want that resources, you want that capabilities betimi aye bi wo krom a no why would we go out to buy ethanol? Why would we go out to buy other thing, to buy ethanol and no betimi cost or mine? Whilst we can develop those things, we can do those things over here at Volta region. That is what Kennedy Ohene Japan is talking about. Now, me move on from Kennedy Ohene Japan. Now, me call into NPP mo na me didi nkomo and then me time no me person me chekra me person me di esi na ye di djumedi no esi na bibia etimi koyi. I've seen a lot of messages e was say betimi e ready e de emma mo na bibia etimi koyi into the mami reading mo messages ne kakra na me toa me stories ne so emfa emma mo emfa mo na bibia etimi enkoyi. A lot of messages are trooping in, a lot of people are sending their messages currently as we speak. We free info for Douglas or say mommy, yes, we at the time and Professor Jane Nana making a speech to the foreign investors at the Jubilee House no message and info for Douglas etimi ediaba. We also free ata Jim 4 also working is all will work again. We had in coma a free attack Jim 4 so eba. We also free Edward also answer Geoffrey also at the fire emojis and also etimi edia toa ede ama the points Jumedi so and I also free John Kofo also Patrick Yabuama is doing the Lord's work at Parliament. Yes, Obo Patrick Yabuama Abaso Ewo Ahana. We also free John Kofo or say NPP will bounce back again, inshallah, Maestro. I know say NPP will bounce back, but when they bounce back, they should do the necessary things. Sinebeya and cause a lot of problem within their party. Very well. We are not working for any political party. We're not here to work for either NPP or NDC. Yeka Ghana Fwagene. We are saying what it is on this particular platform. Where's the free John Kofo? Also clear Photoshop. We'll see on command air coso ewo. Where's so every John Kofo or say NDC never again lies in Kwa and a Kofi Sechi Manfred Atimi. I reply and say John Kofo Massa Obwa why Adelaide ananime who message no ewo ahanom bet mean to me enkenkan emfama because he need ewo kasa video no I say ewo ha eti we messages kakra about my mentors no yindi nkomo producer o se ne yindi nkomo anase ne ebo video bi e de ma yetie fo no ya hefo no concerning NPP elections. Concerning NPP elections. NPP elections are so in January 31st no. But you can do come say Joe or say Usujo Wise. And the election committee chairman or no edano. Now as an election committee chairman, one thing no who say about my two trim that no. Ambwa ama MPP amfano to mapa emfemfra especially in the year 2024 no mobeto abano was only because of proxy voting MPP for no allow emma most of the people edi krata beto aba in the absence of some delegator no ometu kwan ewo amonone and amwa Bibina feel say some the election was rigged to favor one particular candidate. And Onobaya election chairman, and Onobaya that committee, no. One thing that he wants to put it across, they say that proxy voting, no, on so obey the frame. Now, some common, and Okodi, and a Sweden, MPP, or Mu Ankasa, a chairman, Ekodi in Komo say, when it comes to the proxy voting, or no, currently as we speak, no. Idea that since 1992 Professor Dubois hemo time na san komo no e wo hodoma no mo de etimi edeto aba e de say aba na say ono eba bedi nkomo say ono be yi proxy vote ni de free wa o say on so omo petition the NPP no omo bo modern say MPP ebetimi aso proxy vote nim hwe no manyi free omo nsom na bibia etimi ko ye no na Joe Wise tenase na o say there be san komo no mo ko di ye no also mu yifrim na ma men kase mu na me fama no nsi na dwumede me fancy I'm fancy. Yes. Mama hate MPP for heart. Na me fancy. Share. You will near bebre wo honoma. SEC within the NPP. Currently as we speak. So what kind Professor Mike Okwe report or the buyer after the 2024 election at MPP Edin Kugo by huge margin of 1.7 million votes now. So what kind of reports that Professor Mike Okwe the buyer now proxy voting was a problem. Because why like I didn't tell so okacha me say obiti abrochi obi entimi ameto aba wo ma me krata party na me krata se me mfa nko polling station baby a betuma ba na me nko to aba mfa ma candidate A and I say candidate B. At the moment, I mean, say, why would you enforce those things in our country? Why would you enforce those things within the NPP? The moment that you do that, you give way for that mentality. The election now, you are actually scheduling, and I say you are taking measures just to rig the election to favor one possible candidate, which is actually very bad. So one thing I mean so over the proxy voting now many Joe Wise and say oh yeah so who was na election you drew now bet me a plane ticket abakroma ababeto abana then you should come and vote. You should come and vote because even in the general election of our country Ghana, I am not sure say obi yare obi ewu obi etukwan no atro krata e de abre easy and I say easy boss or no ewo I can say community area or say nipa also mesi to kwine it told you to me beto ababa. We don't do it like that. Yama indelible ink you vote once and for all. Untimi vote me no ya chew say what vote me no a eye aban ehye say chew say what vote me no ye fa unkotum na aban ni wundi. MPP also have their own rules. They have their constitution and the constitution binds them from not doing so many things NPP no, because we are talking about NPP last 2 years ago and as last year went into this particular post and created a lot of tension, created a lot of frustration movement within the party. Our early dema party currently as we speak division kesia pe wo party ni mo enya asem ketwa. We are to aba nyambo next year 31 January omo to aba ni wi a the man Professor Michael K edisa enhihye ne ba so omo to aba ne ntem ni nyina chese mo to aba ne ntem a you have enough time. You have enough time to heal the bruises that most of these factions had caused onto themselves. It's almost 3 years. In Sembia can be an I say in Sembia or Makase Dietium, they can easily reconcile. They can easily do what they have to do. It's a prosy vote in India. Me, Big Brother GH Maestro Amete, me Fuaso, Joe Wise, Wajiatum. Obintimint na baby mobi meto abama no. Obintimint na baby mobi meto abama no. Obintimi fa krata emmo bi se obi meto abamfa mobi. This is what we are doing. We will not ensure say sa nkomo no sa niema no enkoso within our country. We will not ensure say sa niema no enkoso within the NPP as a political party. Say NPP form na yensi form na sa niema no etokoso na ekoso within the NPP at the assem kese na ebeba because currently as we speak 3 candidates omenim say omo campaign akwedi mo no is Kennedy Ohene Okomprekwe Japan, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, Dr. Brian Champon, and these 3 candidates, one candidate main tantes and a camp in the young quantum is Dr. Brian Champon, but Kennedy Ohene Japan and Dr. Mahmoud Baumia camp always they are doing those things to themselves. They are always doing those things to themselves. And I don't believe say after the election 31st January ebetimi aboa ama election amokwakwato in 2028 no and before timi aba power, so the earlier the better. Proxy voting no omonyin frame. Therefore Joe Wise and so ensure said these candidates no the opponent omudi atembebre no I mean including the national executive and that kind of rules and regulation or more establishing rules and regulation within the NPP, especially Kennedy Ohene Okomprekwe Japan camp and the Dr. Mahmoud Baumia camp, Dr. Brian Champon camp, Dr. Yawase Educhum, and then Engineer Kwabene Japan. Or more for rules into so why better and I say who say what can be a job be at them no and was here so you best suspend you be free party name because the NPP is not known for this particular kind of insult. The NPP that was established in 1992, that Professor Dubois NPP is not the same anymore. The NPP of John Adekum Kufuor, the NPP of Courage Kwashiga, the NPP of Jake Obichebi Lamte, the NPP that we knew, Nana Danko Kufuor NPP or Baye in 2016, no, that is not the NPP that we are knowing currently as we speak. And they should put a stop to it. Other than that, Niamana Yera John Dramani Mahama currently as to speak, no. Say NPP form for money from if they don't come together, if they don't work out, especially with the grassroots, those people that they stepped on their toes when they were in power. So when to me reconcile and mediate with those people now, I am not sure. So the NPP coming to 2028, they can come to power. Because what the NDC is doing, no, they are always unifying themselves. They are always together. They are always fighting for themselves. Look at what Dr. Frank Amwakuhene is doing over here in Ashanti region. But then, I'm not one man. I'm more kontokwa. Not one man. I'm more kontokwa. Hey, what for near brave boy? You magidi gidi gidi. I'm on for near brave boy. You magidi gidi. What one I'm na more kontokwa. Kwabena Japan didn't come be producer. Fair no toss na me friend from last story ni didn't come on you na me friend. Yes, and a Friday, in a fear that thank God is Friday. We are Friday in the year 24. But me me 2 for kwa sorry Friday, in a Friday, kwa sorry Friday. Producer, you didn't come kakra ewaha na be bien intimi kaye. Now, Kwabena Japan. Essay or open for debate. I'm sure Senka will be a beautiful thing to happen. Because we've seen a lot of delegator when it comes to the campaign message of both these contestants are simple. They want to hear what the kind of policies that these candidates can bring on board. And right now as we speak, I was saying MPP management, I was saying MPP national executive, are calling for national debate among these great personalities that would have ensured a lot of things within our country. Na intimi nkoba say obiepe Franka organizing Franka tufoni bu against MPP mo na munye debate en debate mo ho emeye hu de obetimi aye ene de obintimi ye o se mu debate mo ho. I side with Engineer Cabinet Japan. The NPP National Executive should call for a debate between Dr. Bray Champon, between Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, between Kennedy Ohene Okompreko Japan, Dr. Yawase Duchum, Omun calling for debate. Near far timeline toso, near headie, near Kasa, the message, ever talk delegate Napomaso. I know very well, say, these candidates have toured across the 16 regions in our country. And they are still doing their campaign. They are still sending their message across. They are still doing the things right. They are still doing their things right. It's baby or minor Bible. I say baby MPP Bible. No, they should call for a debate. I said with Kwabena Japan. But Kwabena Japan is what you know. What you know? They say about debater. None of these candidates can go toe to toe with Ono Kwabena Japan. And I think say it drew one my any better. My main account for Millennium Construction Company Limited and Famount. Millennium. No Jimmy so yeah. Millennium. Yeah, yes. Millennium Construction Company Limited. Madike din komodia chose say wo pe jumekwa omusi dan no omadansie ho niema eda form na essence so ewosra a Millennium Construction Company Limited and that may come for the amount. Madin Commodity say or more dining or more 2-bedroom houses, or more 3-bedroom houses, or more 4-bedroom houses, almost so 5-bedroom houses. Ebibia Upebiano Oko Millennium Construction Company Limited. Aswaya Obum Ebetimi Inya Edi amount. Senebeya also so dream house now person with demono. Ebetimi aba into reality ya also weni ebetimi ajepa. Obon sa sen hon sen semno so no me say ebo no eda form man so twinbiare ni ho oko kroman sen semno yana manson ebeba nsase ho ewo kroma ne sa nti no ena me di nkomo edi a kire say Millennium for us na omon sase ya omoton no omontimi enton bi mam se wo sika no mpo se enso a wo de twemu 50% na de aka no twia no kakra na fama Millennium eso a omoye enkrata na kama edi ama omo nkoton fama nipa mienu miensa emma se bi wani enkobre e wo wiase a obaye ometon asase ne di ama omo wie nso so a na opese omo san so si dan de ma because of say omo building materials ne nyina ebi ne ntino ometimi si dan ne bi e di ama na nso so dream house ene we need I mean one kasa wo dream say ometimi oni one kasa wo house no etimi abem e di ama enti se okwa omo I mean omo building materials a ometimi di abo esi dan no ama bibia etimi akoyi e di ama for each Millennium Construction Company Limited asweye na omo bo na bibia etimi nkoyi from ewo omo telephone ahoma we so 0244 041960 na eni omo endi enkomo 0244 041960 na bibia intimi enkoso enfama sanso from ewo 0244 274-084 na eni omo endi enkomo mamitisu biem enfama 0244 274-084 na bibia enkoyi enfama enti millennium na wakoho na onyomo akodi enkomo ama bibia etimi akoye. Yes, my boss Kwame Asare Mampacho ba mencho bibre ba mencho Kwame bibre so yes my boss me ento kakakra and the Friday ento kakakra yes I've fire as a teacher was if you can't just say ento kakakra ti start Kwame Asare yes e so far e so in shadow so news akoyi e di about enti for Asian Millennium Construction Company Limited na omuntimi endi ujuma ne ma kama na bibia entimi enkoyi emfa emma ene no bedo bibia se mutimi join the show no emma show no is successful. Your messages, your likes, your shares has been awesome, and I need to thank each and every one of you for always making things happen for the Point Political House show. Jambo Monday, I have a special guest of Betty Grace this particular show. Na bibi etimi akoyi edi amaye ene nyame nkwana me di juma mene Abranspire success executive producer for this show and the producer ye bibia edi mame Emmanuel Labi enso boaye echinchimi fidie no ema bibia ye kama edi mame patience so tamechi ema bibia etimi koyi edi mame mi amiri juma di we ho chiame no me din at the big brother GH the Maestro de bia me kwa me ka sem bi de chiro be se emu bia ndada wa brabo we mu se wo fu se obrabo na wo bono be mebua ka wasam nko afa kire asafo erade ene Friday watch night na doso e wo kromu a papa no na ko bompai ne erade yankopon enti osufre ko se ne no abrabo na ye bono abrabo no eye okun tembia no yankopon hwe so ma de pachen na ye fa atade sha na ye di tu kese pa to ye kon because abrabo no eye okun ene ye konesa nti no ya no ahwe ho so ye emu bi andada na hwe ho so ye ma bibia entimi enkoyi entinya me bo Monday ye betimi ehia da bibia etimi akoyi makraw bye bye
Senebeya akeba no yebema eswate ankoko wawu asede akoko Senebeya akoko folks are difi amano ne ba no
failure say bibi if bibi failure the classical definition of failure e abroad
company na sa ko fa ban go the water say company na we are gold barely no wunju ya ko we are gold asem ye ka no
yeah be di ade ye ni yeah so all these things no yeah no be boama if